With the stock market reaching new all-time highs and the dollar continuing to plummet, exactly as expected, what if I told you that Bitcoin was not going to pump? Because it's actually going to mega pump. So if you understand, it's only a matter of time before the juice gets let loose. Hit that like and subscribe. Get signed up with FEMX below if you want Bitcoin, altcoins, or trade. And without any further ado, let's absolutely dump on in to where we see a lot of big things happening, specifically on the technical analysis front. A Bitcoin pump big time is absolutely coming. Retail will chase it, and the market makers will unload. And that's not the issue, right? The issue is not that we're not going to get a pump. For most people, what the issue for most people is going to be is that we are going to get a pump. Bitcoin is going to do exactly what we think it's going to and has been doing for the past 2.5 years successfully, right? Bottomed at about 15K. It's at 100K right now. And it's very likely that we're going above 200,000. That's not the part that people are going to be wrong about. The part that people are going to be wrong about, as literally always, every single time, I've seen this so many times, is that we are going to get the pump. But then wherever that pump takes us, whether it's 200K, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, people are going to get greedy and not take a single penny of profit. And then we're going to have a pullback. This time, however, it might be a little different in that maybe we have a sustained pullback. Maybe we get some sideways trading for months and months, kind of like what we're doing right now. Maybe then we have another leg up. Maybe the model is broken. Maybe the 4-year cycle is broken and we do keep going up. But even if it is the case that the 4-year cycle, let's say the 4-year cycle is broken, people are still going to get banked. People are still going to find every single possible way to not make money in this market. They are going to get destroyed by their psychology at every turn. And that is the one thing, in my opinion, that will never change about these markets, is that people are their own worst enemy and they will find a way to lose money. Even if Bitcoin for the next, let's say 5 years, Bitcoin goes up, trade sideways, up, trade sideways, up, sideways, over and over and over again. And simply put, really, to make good profit, all you have to do is nothing, right? If you're invested and you do nothing and it goes up, sideways, with, obviously some dumps and ranging and all of that in between. But if that's the overall trend on a 5-year basis, most people are still going to find a way to not make money. They're going to find a way to try to time everything perfectly. And instead of timing it perfectly, mistime all of it. They're going to find a way to panic sell at the worst moments and panic buy at the worst moments. And I just like this model because it's truly, to me, it's a very simple illustration of our current price action. But more than anything, it kind of illustrates or kind of gives you the idea of why the psychology of this is so important, because humans will always find a way. Not everyone. There is a small percentage of people that will be ultra successful. There is a small percentage of people that will make millions of dollars, even with, maybe sub $1 million, right? We're not talking about billionaires making a couple extra million. We're talking about maybe somebody with, 100,000, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, that will be able to make millions in the next year, even less, and especially even longer. But there's also going to be way more people that are not able to do that and are able to lose all of their gains somehow, even if the market just goes up and sideways. As well, Breadman on X, don't hold Bitcoin because you want it to make you rich. Although, to be honest, over time, that's exactly what it does do. But hold it because the people in control of the money want to make you poor. That's exactly one of the major reasons I started buying it. Obviously, the fact that you can make a lot of money just holding it is amazing. But also because it takes the power away from the people that are trying to control the money. This isn't a political thing. It's not Democrats, it's not Republicans, it's everyone in power, right? Or a very few select minority of the ultra rich that are in control of everything. It takes a little bit of their power away, and it makes you rich in the process over time if you have patience and you don't ruin your chances by being your own worst enemy. Bitcoin also needs a strong weekly close above 107,000 per coin according to CypherX on X. And why? It's because it'll open a way for a big pump towards about 140, 130K in the third quarter, which is coming up. Just take a look at Q4 of 2024 and you'll see what happened when Bitcoin had its biggest weekly close. You can see that here. Actually, if I zoom out, you can see that here. Nice big breakout. A strong weekly close here is very important and trend necessary for this trend, basically. As well, Kaleo posting this chart of this descending or kind of, like falling wedge type structure with a new all-time high this week, he's claiming. Very big. I mean, we have been trading right at the top of this range here for we've been here for about a month and a half, kind of just right in this range. Eventually, this range will break. And I think it's very likely, more than anything, it will be to the upside. As well, I mean, we look at this chart by Mustache on X. With Bitcoin's recent weekly close, Bitcoin has reclaimed the December high of last year. Exactly what you want to see in a bull market, right? We see these patterns repeating over and over. It's not rocket science. It's just patience. Ignore the headlines, follow the money. M2 liquidity is pumping. It's not speculation. It's macro fueled momentum. Bitcoin is ready to move higher. Signal is clear. There is some deviation from it. That's normal as well. It's never like completely perfect. I mean, sometimes it is, to be honest, but it doesn't have to be completely perfect. The trend is still very apparent, and there's no need to panic. Obviously, there is a very clear lack of excitement in this market, but I promise you that is exactly what I've seen every single time before we actually have big moves. When we're trading sideways, when things are boring, before we have those really big pumps that make huge amounts of money for people, when people become very profitable, and it kickstarts that euphoria, and where people get excited and really start entering, new entrants, at least new participants in the market. What happens before that big move is that there is complete complacency. There is complete denial. There's complete hopelessness. Not always. I mean, honestly, I think this is the most hopelessness I've ever seen when Bitcoin is basically at an all-time high. It's insane. I say it over and over again. I've seen other people say it over and over again, but it's true. Like, what the heck, right? We're right here. We're right at Bitcoin's highest price ever. And this market is full of depressed people. It is impressive. As well, Pentoshi on X says this: I know many people really want this to be like 2021 for Bitcoin. The very day that we topped back in 2021, CPI had come in at a very high number, and that's where we topped. In hindsight, it was very obvious, he said, and that markets would begin to go risk off, and the Fed would be forced to hike rates, and it would just be a very bearish Bitcoin trajectory. This time, though, interest rates are already high, inflation is tamed, the US is discussing outgrowing its debt. You can't really compare these two. And the only similarity is that on the chart, there was a dip and then it took out the highs, but even these are no longer the same as previously. It took out the highs and essentially immediately started a downtrend. This time, though, we continue to consolidate above the previous all-time highs while treasury companies are going on in. This is a very unique, never happened before. This is a complete objectively new thing that's happening right now. It's a problem for a later date. This isn't going to be good forever necessarily. This might actually cause maybe some other issues down the road, but it's not something for today. Before something like really crazy like that happens, something maybe detrimental, a lot more treasury companies are going to be created and a lot more Bitcoin price appreciation is going to occur before that happens. And as well, a nice little reminder, real estate is the world's largest asset market at about 330 trillion. Bitcoin is 2 trillion. This little bleep right here is real estate. It's the most egregious mispricing of capital in the history of the world, according to Joe on X. And this will change. So looking back, there is going to be a time, in my opinion, where Bitcoin looks about this size compared to everything else. And by that point, Bitcoin, investing in it as a way to increase your net worth and just live a better life and be financially free, Bitcoin is not going to present as big of an opportunity as it does now. A lot of people thought when Bitcoin was at $10, it was overpriced because it used to be $1. A lot of people thought when Bitcoin was $1, it was overpriced because it used to be pennies, right? A lot of people thought that Bitcoin at $1,000 was overpriced because it used to be $10. A lot of people now think Bitcoin is overpriced at 100,000 because it used to be 1,000. And soon, a lot of people are going to think Bitcoin is overpriced at 5 million because it used to be what it is now, 100,000. So you can learn the hard way, right? Nobody knows for sure. But when enough evidence and enough research is done on a topic, sometimes it's just a matter of time before things play out. And, again, like I said, nothing's guaranteed. But are you going to be one of those people maybe buying Bitcoin for the first time when it's $5 million per coin? Maybe. You might be one of those people. I mean, I hope you're not. But yeah, so the weekly as well. I mean, as well with this M2, I think Bitcoin is going to continue to track that. We see on the weekly chart as well a little bit of a pullback, but I mean, no real trends on any of this momentum on a weekly chart. Daily still looks pretty good too. I mean, we're just consolidating. The dollar is plummeting, as we've been predicting for months and months. As soon as Trump took office, it's literally just been going straight down. It's at like 96, 97 right now, well below 100. The stock market as well, S&P 500 has just hit new all-time highs. Risk on assets are the play, in my opinion, or they will be very, very, very soon. I mean, now is the time, in my opinion, where they're attractive. And, you know, if you want to buy Bitcoin at 150, that's, you know, you can probably still make a lot of profit in the short term, but I would rather buy it at 100. Or even better yet, I would have bought it a month ago at 75. Or better yet, I would have bought it a couple years ago at 1,000, right? I mean, at this point, I guess it wasn't a couple years ago. It was like a decent amount of years ago. Time really flies. But yeah, Bitcoin's already over 100x since I've got invested in it. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. I think Bitcoin's very bullish. I mean, look at MicroStrategy as well, actually. It looks pretty good. But without any further ado, basically all of that to say, I'm bullish on Bitcoin, I'm buying, and I'll always be buying. But get signed up with FMX Below if you want my Bitcoin altcoins or trade. Without any further ado,